All right, you guys, today we're learning about the properties of parallelograms. We're just going to be going over what you need to know about them, and then eventually we'll be learning what kind of calculations you will have to be able to do to prove that a quadrilateral is a parallelogram given these certain theorems and converses. Okay, so the basic definition of a parallelogram is a quadrilateral with both pairs of opposite sides parallel. So as you can see, we have two pair of parallel sides, right? I've got one pair that has one arrow on it, and then I have a second pair that has two arrows on it. Now, to show that sides or lines are parallel, you have to show what? Slope. Okay, so you'd have to calculate the slope of this line and show that that slope is going to have the same incline as this line. You'd have to do the same thing with the other pair. Show that this slope is the same as this one. So let's go ahead and write that down so we will remember. Okay, so hopefully you wrote that down along with me. You're going to show all four side slopes using the slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So when you do this line segment would have the exact same slope as this one. Again, this line segment would have the exact same slope as this one. And you're going to do that whenever it asks you to use the definition of a parallelogram. So as we progress through this unit, we're going to learn other theorems. So then you'll have other calculations that you will have to do. So as you can read, this theorem is called the parallelogram opposite side theorem. It says if a quadrilateral is a parallelogram, so you already have to know that it's a parallelogram, then its opposite side lengths are going to be congruent. Okay, so if this one had a length of 3, this one would have a length of 3. If this one had a length of 5, this one would have a length of 5. So if later on you're asked to use the parallelogram opposite side theorem, what kind of calculation would you have to do to show that opposite sides are the same length? Well, you'd have to use the distance formula. Okay, so let's go ahead and write that down so we have that in our notes. All right, so hopefully you wrote that down. You would again calculate this side lengths and this side length to show it's the same number. And then you'd also calculate these two side lengths and show that they're also the same number when you do the distance formula. Okay, so this next theorem deals with opposite angles. It's called the parallelogram opposite angles theorem. Again, you have to have a parallelogram. So if you know that you have a quadrilateral that's a parallelogram, then the angles that are opposite of each other or diagonal of each other are going to be congruent. So these two would be the exact same number, and so would these two. Now, there is no way to calculate what these angles are specifically going to be without learning more information. Okay, so we will never do a calculation or prove that a parallelogram or that opposite angles are going to be congruent when it's a parallelogram. So you won't ever do any calculations with this one specifically. You'll just have to apply it. All right, so taking a look at this example, we can figure out what y is very quickly using the opposite angles theorem. Right, that's the one we just learned, this one. If a quadrilateral is a parallelogram, then its opposite angles are congruent. We know that this is a parallelogram because it's got our little arrows here and here. And of course has to have two pair. Okay, so since we know it's a parallelogram, we know the opposite angles will be the same, and that would tell us that y is 65 degrees. So we're just going to write opposite angles theorem. And then we can do the same thing with our sides. These two sides are going to be the same, 12 and x plus 4, because of the opposite sides theorem. Right? We already learned about that one right here. Parallelogram, opposite sides theorem. If quadrilateral is a parallelogram, then its opposite sides are congruent. So again, we can say that these two sides right here are going to be equal. So x plus 4 equals 12. So if we subtract the 4, we get that x is 8. And again, the reason is the opposite sides theorem. All right, go ahead and pause the video. Give the kids a chance to go ahead and do these two problems on their own. You should be finding FG, this length, and the measure of angle G. And then over in this one, we have to find both x and y. So x is an angle, y is a side, right? Okay, so go ahead and give the kids a second to do this. Pause the video, and then we'll press play, and we'll go through the answers here. Don't forget to include what theorem you used as well. Okay, here we go. So going over these answers, we wanted to find FG. FG is this side length, which happens to be across from the side length that has a length of 8. So FG is 8. That is using the opposite sides theorem. Likewise, we wanted to find the measurement of angle G. So since G happens to be opposite or diagonal of angle E, which is 60 degrees, the measurement of angle G is also 60 degrees. And that is the opposite angles theorem. Okay, taking a look at our other example. We want to find x and y. X happens to be 2x, which is angle J, which is opposite of angle L. So that would mean these diagonal angles are going to be equal. So 2x equals 50, and that gives us the x is 25 when you divide by 2. Since it's opposite angles, we're using the opposite angles theorem. And then we wanted to find y. Y happens to be opposite of 18, so I can set 18 equal to y plus 3. When you subtract 3 from both sides, we get y to be 15, and that's the opposite sides theorem. All right, go ahead and flip the page. So quick little reminder, remember that when you have two parallel lines that are cut by a transversal, remember the transversal is just a line that passes through the two parallel lines, then the interior angles that are consecutive are supplementary. So if you remember me talking about C to C all the time, where this angle X and this angle Y appear to be the letter C, okay, remember that these two angles always add to 180, right? So X plus Y would equal 180 degrees every single time. Remember, consecutive angles. Okay, so this applies in a parallelogram as well. So I could technically make what I have in my picture right now a parallelogram if I add in another side. And I draw that line here to be parallel to this one. Okay? So it doesn't matter where the parallelogram has its consecutive angles. They could be here and here. They could be here and here. They could be here and here. Or they could be here and here. As long as they're right next to each other, those two angles will always add to 180. Every time. All right, so knowing this, why don't you go ahead and find the measures of angles B, C, and D. So go ahead and pause the video, figure out what those angles are, and then go ahead and press play and check your answers. All right, so we can use our consecutive angles theorem that we just learned to figure out angles B and D. Right, the whole C to C thing. D, C to C. So those two angles would add to 180, so D's got to be 120. And then technically, you can do that again. Right, technically you can see the C up here. Got to rotate your paper to actually see that letter C, but hopefully you get the idea. So angle B would be 120 for the two to add to 180. And you technically could just keep doing this on repeat if you wanted. C to C this way. So angle C would also be 60 degrees. Okay, so you can use the consecutive angle theorem to do that. You could also technically, once you get one of these figured out, right, if you figured out D, once you figured out D, you could do opposite angle theorem as well to find B and to find C. So there's a couple different ways you'll be able to figure that out. Okay, then we have our last theorem for today. It's called the parallelogram diagonals theorem. It says as long as you know you have a parallelogram, so again, two pair of opposite sides that have the same slope, then the diagonals are going to bisect each other. Remember, bisect means to cut in half. Okay, so if this diagonal is cutting in half the other diagonal, that would mean that this point right here has got to be the point in the middle of each of these, the midpoint. Okay, so the quickest way to prove that a quadrilateral is a parallelogram using the diagonals theorem is to calculate the midpoint of both diagonals and show that it happens to be the exact same point. So if you were to take this endpoint and this endpoint and calculate the midpoint of it, and then do the same thing for this endpoint and this endpoint and calculate the midpoint, that point in the middle of each of those diagonals should be the exact same number. So let's go ahead and write that down so you remember that for the future. So calculate the midpoint of both diagonals and show it's the same. Then, of course, the midpoint formula. Hopefully we remember it. You add up your x's, divide by 2. You add up your y's, divide by 2. Okay. All right, so that should be it for today. Your homework today is from the textbook. We've got page 372, questions 3 through 20. All right, get to work.